that moves into the whole topic about the black community and where we are and what we are and where we're going. Okay.
Right.
So, what is the black community in 2017?
What is the black community
Yeah. What do y'all think?
that I can think of? We have from my knowledge, what I've gained so far, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know any black communities.
Mm-hmm.
I know black neighborhoods,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know any black communities. Here in Chicago, it's just suburbs, not far from me. 15, 20 minutes just north, just slightly northwest of me. It's called Robbins. It was the first black community in Chicago, the first black suburbs in Chicago. To
Mm-hmm.
this day, it's black owned, black ran. That's where Dwayne Wade grew up. Dwayne
Okay.
Wade grew up in Robbins. It's
Okay.
right on the borderline of the city. It's technically a suburbs. To this day, if you go through Robbins, when you roll Robbins is not that long. It stretches from about 143rd and it goes north to about 139th. So that's 7 blocks or so. East and west, it stretches about 5 blocks. Robbins is a small town, small little neighborhood. But to this day, if you go through Robbins, it looks like you're in the backwoods of Kentucky. Like literally,
Mm-hmm.
you can go from and what's surrounding Robbins is Blue Island is to the right, Mitlow is to the left, and Alsop is to the north of Robbins. And literally, you can come from and Markham is to the south. You can come from Markham, which is predominantly black neighborhood, but it's not black owned, black ran, and you go through Robbins, and you act. It looks like you're in another state.
Mm-hmm.
To this day, Robbins actually Dwayne Wade just actually got the first, I guess, the first major store in Robbins. Robin doesn't have any gas stations. Robin doesn't have the only business they had a liquor store, of course,
Of
and they
course.
had a corner store that sold like these little Arabs on it that I know for years, and they
Right.
wind up doing an insurance claim on it a few years back and just burned it down. But
Right.
but they had like
Wow.
you can get your food, your meats and stuff like that. That's it. Dwayne Wade just convinced Dollar Tree, not Dollar Tree, Dollar General, or one of the dollar stores. So Robbins has a dollar store now. But of course, the little corner store got burned down, so they did insurance claim. Only thing is open is a dollar store, and a couple blocks away from the dollar store is a liquor store. They sell Lucy
Right.
cigarettes and liquor. That's it. Robin, it's cool. The people are cool. The blue collar worker, but Robbins is so is devastated. They don't have any tax coming in because most of the people, not most, but some of the people is low income. They
Mm-hmm.
actually knocked down. They had some assisted living places a few years back, and they actually just demolished those in Robbins because they have to keep funding in money into those places, but they're not getting money out. So
Okay.
they move those people out. It's homeowners in Robbins. I'm not saying no one owns a home and things like that, but Robbins is just so. It started back in like the 40s, but it's just to this day, it's just never took off. It's
Mm-hmm.
old remnants of big houses, big mansions in Robbins. There's no one lives in, but it
Right.
just never took off. And it's still a black ran community. Black owned and
Mm-hmm.
ran community, but they don't get the government assistance like they really need to. They don't have any income coming in because though it is taxpayers over there, it's not a lot of taxpayers, and it's a small community as well.
Right.
So other than Robbins, I really don't know any black communities. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Yeah. I have to agree. I mean, in terms of when I think of a community, I think of something that can be self-sustaining.
right,
Where you can where you can work and buy the necessities of life and live.
right,
Growing up in Philadelphia, we certainly had places where there were pockets where you could buy stuff. You couldn't work because nobody owned anything. And but you could work and I mean you could buy and you could what was my three? Work, buy, But you couldn't work, but you could buy stuff, and you could live there. Um, in that sense, the idea of community, I think, is it's one that's never been taught, and certainly fallen away from in terms of hey, we to create that infrastructure within a community. I think that has to be taught,
Right.
and I don't think anybody's teaching that.
Yeah, and that was the thing. Talk going back to Robbins. Probably way back when in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, before I was born, maybe it was black businesses there. I
Hmm.
see remnants of little shoe repair stores and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But for the most part, from my adult life and my teenager's life, the first time I went through Robbins and stuff like that, it's never been any business there. So all the people who do work and do make money, they have to spend that money outside the community. So it's not getting funded within Robbins. They have to go
Right,
right next door to Midlothian, and that's where everything is. Cause
and that's probably also where they work.
right, yeah. They also
Yeah,
work outside the community as well. So
right,
those taxes go in. If they work in the city, those taxes go through the city. They don't go back
right.
until the Robbins neighborhood, and that's just Robbins. Just look, it's look like you're in a totally different state when you roll through Robbins, literally. And like it's people I know out of town. We might cut through Robbins to go somewhere else. They be like, "Where are we?" I'm like, "Oh, we right here." They was like, "Hold up, how was that?" Just like, cause it's more like farmland. It's not even farmland. It's just the houses are far in between. They're back in the woods and things like that. So it just looks like you're in Kentucky or somewhere. When you roll through
Oh,
Robbins.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's something that needs to be taught. What do you think, D Blaze?
I agree. I mean, it's like the city that I live in. It's still kind of like set up like it was when it was segregated. I mean, the north side is mostly white. Then by the railroad to the south side or whatever, it's mostly black. It's still kind of like that now. It's just more like I guess a little sprinkled every now and again, or whatever. But yeah, I mean, on the south side, I mean, it's just like this strip of road or whatever, where you can tell it was a lot of black businesses at. Now it's some still there. I mean, you got barbershops and you got like the soul food place restaurants that I talked about earlier or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I don't think we realize that. I mean, because in between that, it's like a strip. It's like a major highway, and on that strip, it's like five Indian business back to back. They got a
Right.
restaurant, they got three hotels, then they got a gas station,
Hmm.
and behind all that, it's a black neighborhood.
Hmm.
So, I mean, they making money off us and anybody who ride through, on the highway. So,
Right. Yeah, but I still think that that's a if we look back at the 40s, and the 30s, I still think that that's part of that push to integrate, and I think that pushing the integration took away a lot of that idea of community, like you said, Chicago. I think certainly before, they desegregated the schools and there was this push to ride the bus on the front. Not necessarily that's a bad thing, please don't get me wrong, but I think all of those things kind of pushed it towards integration so that, we could spend our money elsewhere instead of spending it with ourselves. And I think we haven't looked at that and we still do it, which is why we don't have communities.
yeah. I mean, cause I don't even work in the city that I live.
Hmm.
Everything is pretty much, even it's a small little city, but pretty much all the, I guess if you want to say good stores are either on the north side or you have to go to the neighboring city, which is Columbus, where
Hmm.
everything else is at. So,
Yeah, and I
I mean,
think that I think that's the problem, that we don't have that sense of community anymore. It's very much, I got mine, you got to get yours the best way you can. Let me go work for white folks because they're going to take care of me, and I really want them to love me anyway, so I'm gonna go work for them. You know, I think that's I think that's the problem. That we lost that sense of community, and we got tricked, bamboozled into thinking that you know, um, joining alongside them was the best way to do it.